All right, Ken, I wanted to pick up our discussion on 9/11 and talk about how it has really driven American foreign policy. We've seen the institutionalization of this idea of a global war on terrorism, which was literally concocted by Israeli geopolitical and military strategists going back to the late 1970s, Jewish neocons in the United States that dominate the American foreign policy discussion and decision-making process. They're very much involved in this, and again, they've openly written about this. So what's your take on how 9/11 has really driven American foreign policy, especially in the Middle East?
Well, yeah, it's been stated in very important policy papers. I seriously recommend that everybody who's watching this reads Oded Yanan's Strategy for Israel in the 1980s. That document defines the Middle East today, and it was all about effectively balkanizing the Middle East, sowing the seeds of sectarian hatred. Target number one, way back in the 80s, was Saddam Hussein, because he was a strong Arab leader. This has nothing to do with him being a human rights violator. He was our man. He was our man for a long, long time. He was being, sent off to go kill Iranians as punishment for them having the nerve to get rid of our puppet, the Shah. So this asshole was our little fucking attack dog in the Middle East for a long time. But Israel identified him as target number one because they want to expand Israel in what's known as the Greater Israel Project into Iraq and Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Saudi Arabia.
Well, again, I think the key point is that they literally have laid this all out publicly. This is no secret or some conspiracy. The Oded Yanan plan, there's many other neocon foreign policy papers that were published in the years leading up to 9/11 outlining their agenda, which has basically been followed out for the most part.
Yes, indeed. So, I mean, in the key documents from the Project for a New American Century, Rebuilding America's Defenses in a Clean Break,
a new Pearl Harbor they were calling for.
Indeed.
Yes.
And they call for, they say in this document, the goal of the United States should be in the fall of the Soviet Union. America should take this opportunity to establish this goal of, quote, full spectrum dominance, i.e. total control over air, land, sea, and space and cyberspace. And in order to achieve that goal, they said what we would need to do is secure some strategic areas, including the former Soviet republics in the Caspian Basin that have a stupendous amount of gas and oil, also some other key areas in the Middle East to establish permanent military bases. And in order to achieve this goal, we would have to fight wars of aggression, and they knew that they couldn't sell that to the American people honestly. So what they said in that document, as you very well noted, is they would need a, quote, new Pearl Harbor type event to whip up the people into the anger and manipulate them into yet another bullshit war that has nothing to do with the truth. We invaded Afghanistan when in fact Osama bin Laden was never even charged. In fact, the FBI said in 2006, 2007, the reason why they never charged him with a crime related to 9/11 is that they had no credible evidence directly linking him to the event. So we invaded a nation that literally had somebody who we accused but never actually provided any evidence. We've been there ever since, still there to this day. That's all about the Caspian region and the gas and the oil and the pipeline through Afghanistan. Very transparent shit. The military base that we were meant to get in Iraq didn't quite work out as what was planned, but there was an intent to have a permanent military base there and of course secure the oil in that region. And of course we see this agenda playing out to the T. And we also see in Oded Yanan's Strategy for Israel this absolute insanity in the Middle East, where you've got Saudi Arabia, which is like the twin brother, the love affair between Israel and Saudi Arabia, creating these monsters of Al-Qaeda and lately now ISIS. That's funded from Saudi Arabia. These assholes that, funny enough, have never once attacked Israel. Isn't that interesting?
That's right.
Never once. So they have no problem chopping off Christians and Muslims' heads and basically killing anything that isn't lockstep in line with their bullshit. But not even once have they attacked Israel. In fact, Israel has provided medical support in the Golan Heights to al-Nusra Front, which is a branch of Al-Qaeda.
So they're funding the terrorists we're supposed to be fighting.
Yeah, we create the Frankenstein, which justifies the never-ending expanding military-industrial complex and these ventures, otherwise known as the war on terror, which of course is a war of terrorism.
Exactly.
We look at Iraq, 1 million, 2 million dead, millions of orphans, millions of refugees. The country split pretty much the way they had planned it into three different segments, the Kurdish in the north, the Sunni and the Shia. None of this shit was a reality before our policies. In fact, there was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq when we invaded it. Look at it now. Libya, very similar.
We got a dog here, guys. Well, and one key aspect of this whole Zionist agenda in the Middle East was they wanted to concoct a way in which to use the American military and our financial power, our human resources, our guys and girls in the military to use us to advance their own strategic interests in the region.
Indeed.
And that's exactly what the whole global war on terrorism is. This is not being fought to keep America safe or to go after the real people behind 9/11 or even to promote democracy in the Middle East.
Yeah.
This is nothing but an Israeli agenda using American military power.
Indeed, indeed. And you know, when I was opposed to the invasion of Iraq and did the best I could to try and stop it through this thing called the Human Shield Action, you know, most Americans thought, oh, fucking traitor, you know, anti-American bullshit. Now we got 22 American service members a day minimum committing suicide because of the fucking bullshit that we send them off to do for Israel, no less.
That's right.
Never was there a benefit for the United States, ever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing that people throw around. Oh, well, we're over there for the oil. No, this is an Israeli agenda, a Jewish agenda, a neocon agenda, and that's very clear.
And just parting really quickly on that, you know, I'm no fucking hippie. You know, if someone's coming into your nation, you fucking kill them. You know, I'm the first one to say, you get up and you fight, man, like a man, and you give up your life if necessary. But we're the ones doing the invading. No one's invading us.
That's right.
You know, other than the, you know, Mexicans in this country and the refugees in Europe, which is all being manufactured and engineered to pit us against each other. You know, no one is invading our country other than those who are welcomed in by those fucking treasonous leaders we have to pit us against each other. This is the reality of it.
That's right. Good.